husband Michael have organized the perpetual adoration during this convention.
I just wanted to thank everybody who has gone up and spent some time with the Lord. It's just been so gratifying. This is our 15th year to do this, and it's such a blessing for us. And I just wanted to say thank you to all of you. And today at 4:30, we will take the monstrance given to us by St. John Paul II to the Basilica for Mass, Cathedral for Mass, at 4:30. So if you want to go with us, the Knights will be there as well, and we'd love to have you process with us. We're going to leave here at 4:30 for the 5 o'clock Mass. Thank you all so much. God loves you all.
And before we begin the vocation session, I would like all of the new district governors to come forward and be recognized. I know we have a few. I'm looking at one right now. Do we have any other new district governors with us? All right. Would you like to introduce yourself, sir? No? All right. Then I'll do it for you. This is Bob Campney from, where's that? Omaha, I think is how it's pronounced, in Nebraska. So let's welcome Bob and encourage him as he goes forward as a district governor. Yes, we have Mary O'Connor, a district governor-elect from the other side of the world in, is it Walden? In Melbourne. Thank you both very, and Ken Harris from Portland, Oregon. Thank you, Ken. Oh, they're coming out of the woodwork. Sally Nance. And Diana. And I'm very excited about these two upcoming sessions for membership and vocations. Vocations is, of course, what brings us together as Serrans, and membership is the process by which we go out and share our apostolate with others. So without further ado, I would like to invite Dante Vanini from Siena, Italy, the Vice President for Vocations of Serra International, to come up with Judy Cousins, the Vice President for Vocations of the U.S. Council.
They are priests, they are religious. This morning I saw, okay, they are religious. They are guests, they are brothers in Serra. My name is Dante Vanini, as John said before. I came from Italy. I came from Siena. Siena is in Tuscany. Tuscany is a region in which we produce the best wine in Italy. but like California, because also I know in Napa Valley is a good wine, and in Italy we call Napa Valley Tuscany Valley. At the same time, I know in California is a zone, diocese, who call San Bernardino. You know San Bernardino? Nobody know where is born San Bernardino? San Bernardino is born in Siena, in my town. Okay, I'm living very close to Assisi, to San Francisco town, and also in Santa Maria degli Angeli, Los Angeles. Gentlemen, I feel to be a homer today. Okay, anyway, I am here not to speak for Siena or for California. I am to speak for, of course, for vocations. is the first slides. Sorry, I put the Italian name. It's not Luglio, it's July. But when I made the slides, I forget to read in English. But anyway, I think it's clear. You have to apologize me, and maybe also you have to apologize for my English. If some people don't can understand me, please tell me to repeat what I can't speaking. Next one, please. As I said before, I'm here to speak for vocation. Vocation, of course, are not only in a few parts of the world, but in every part of the world, from Australia to New Zealand, to Europe, to America, South, North, and so on, so on. Vocation. What is vocation? Vocation is a word that delivers from the Latin vocatio, designed specifically the call from God to the man. A vocation is a particular awareness toward a certain lifestyle and often intense activity of a religious and a fraternal nature, but one that can even exist as part of a philosophical or moral way of thinking. Every person must live his or her own existence as an answer to the call which the Lord makes to all of us in baptism. There are some who are called to a special consecration. Next. Proposal for promoting vocation. In order to sustain and promote vocations, Serra make the following suggestions. First, find out how many Serra members have a son who are a priest or religious. Based in this feeding, promote a vocational culture in own family. They have if it is a priest in the family must be make advertising for vocation for other family. Second, invite on sons or nephews to participate at the altar boys at the mass on Saturdays. This being one of the main ways of inspiring vocational truth and desires. Make contact with the catechists on his parish in order to stimulate and present the vocational aspect of life and encourage a personal reflection about an eventual call. Fourth, sustain and animate vocational day camps with the participation of these who give active and personal witness. Proposal for sustain vocation. To sustain and accompany those vocational which already exist, obtaining knowledge of the situation on diocese regarding priest and religious age, physical condition, family presence, solitude, and so on, in order to help them in their spiritual and material needs, letting them know the existence of Serra Club. Make a contact with the family association of priests where they already function and encourage their participation. About point two, maybe some people ask me, but if there are priests, why you have to speak with the family in which is a priest? No, it's important because, of course, the family must know that the priest is not alone. It is Serra Club can help him during the priest activities. Third, be available in order to cooperate in parish activity, especially in pastoral councils and economic affairs. Always be near seminarians so that they may know that Along with the families, bishops, and the rector, there are other people who pray for them and who are concerned about their spiritual and the materials need. It is important, the point 4. Why? Because Serra is not only a group of prayer. Serra have to make other help to seminarians, to priests, to older priests, and so on. We are normally we are a doctor, engineering, architect, lawyer, and so on. Of course, unfortunately, the priests or seminarians or others have a necessity to have our service, and we have to give a service free of charge, and to help. And repeat, it's not our mission is not only to pray, but is also to make help. Why not also money help if seminarians having some difficulties, special in Italy, special seminarian who came from a poor country. Okay, now I'm finished. I ask Judy to follow me. Maybe she speak she is American. She's better. Speak better than me for your better understand.
He speaks English very well. God bless you. Thank you. And I loved his final point there, that we not only as Serrans, we do need to pray, but we also need to be active, and we need to help in many ways. And each one of us, as he was saying, has different skills and ways we can help. The lawyer, the architect, the teacher, the nurse, whatever we are, we all have different skills, and mothers and fathers, and many ways we can help. Good point there, Dante. You know, we have what is a new program starting right now in the United States, which I would like to encourage other countries to do because we're finding out so much. It's called a Vocation Outreach Ministry, and I only have 6 people on my team at this point. And we are calling vocation vice presidents for the other clubs in the United States. And we are asking them what they're doing, and we're finding out wonderful things we didn't know. And we're also being there to assist them and help them with programs. So this is going to provide an interactive forum, and we do it by a conference call on the telephone, and it's just a beautiful way for us to be more supportive of each other and to learn from each other. Gino, the past vice president for Vocations, was saying he found out something that in one of the clubs he called just recently that it was just wonderful, and he'd never heard of it before. So we get a lot of information from other people, and we can also assist them. The vocation outreach is committed volunteers interested in encouraging vocation activities through conference calls. And these volunteers are called, assigned some clubs to call. They identify successful activities and needs. They offer support through mentors or supplies. They can offer training or on finding resources on the website, because sometimes our Serrans aren't very good at finding what we already have for them on the website. So we want to give them some training in that by one-to-one mentoring on the telephone when they're in front of their computer, just helping them. And we inform them of upcoming conference calls on vocation activities at the local level that they can conduct at their local level. The first 6 members of the team have made many calls. We've really helped. We helped one club get a vocation vice president. They didn't have one, but the president was like, well, maybe you should call this person. He's really a neat person. He is sort of interested. And we called him, and now we're mentoring him. So we got a new vice president of vocations for that club. We helped get another club, some other clubs, quite a few clubs involved in Newman Connection. And we assigned a mentor for a new VP. We've had positive interchange. So this outreach ministry is looking for about 5 more volunteers to join the team of callers. And then they have a 1-hour conference call together and report the results and get their next charge. And we want you to consider joining the team. Now, there was an index card on your chair, and Mark and the next group on membership is going to use those index cards, but they said we could have one side. So if you'd like to be a member of our team, write down outreach team member and put your name and contact information. We'll get back to you. When we call, one of the things we're doing is we take time to find out what they're doing in their club. We have a PowerPoint for the 5-star program, and I'm going to show that to you quickly today, that they can share with their club. And we ask, how can the Vocation Committee of USAC serve your club? It's just been wonderful, because we're reaching out and stimulating vocation activities. That's what we're all about. You know, it's not good enough for just us to go and do a vocation activity. What if I can get 5 other clubs to do a different new vocation activity? Now I'm making progress. So that's our goal. So we've had the other thing. Okay, after this vocation outreach ministry, we found a lot of people have questions about different ministries. And Newman Connection, which used to be called College Connection for Catholics, one of my little stepchildren, or children I love. It's just a beautiful program of connecting high school seniors with the Catholic campus ministry where they're going to college. Has actually grown, and it's been taken over by Newman Connection. And we still have a lot of people that were having trouble getting into that program. So our first open conference call, where we said, put out an email to all Serrans we could had their emails for, is going to be on Newman Connection. It's a 1-hour call. We're going to give you a lot of information. You're going to have a chance to ask questions, and some people are going to share how they have gotten their names to the high school seniors. It was very successful. I think we had 10 or 11 on the call, and everybody was really enthusiastic. It's a step up for me to do a conference call, and I found out that you can record the conference call, but I didn't do that. So this next time, we're going to record the conference call. So even if you couldn't listen at that time, you could come back and go to the recording and hear what was said. But we also sent out notes, and I had people who called and said, Judy, I couldn't make that call. Could you send me the notes? And we've been able to connect them. So I think we got another 7 or 8 people connected to Newman Connection afterwards through just the publicity. So we're making a difference by making that contact. In September, we're going to start with a monthly call. Maybe that call will be on the Called by Name program. It might be on, my mind's blank. I got to think here. It could, 31-member club, or it could be on the Traveling Chalice or Crucifix club movement. All of those things. And when we will announce ahead of time, we're going to have a conference call. And we'll get that out to people. And then if your VP for Vocations or any club member wants to listen in or be part of it, this is a chance to be involved through interaction and learn. A lot of people don't like reading things to learn about something. So this gives them a chance to learn about it through a wonderful call. So we're really looking forward to people. And through surveying our committee of people that have been making the calls, we'll select the next topic. So you'll be hearing from us. Now, that on that card, if you have somebody who's working on vocations in your club, would you write their name down for us? Because we would like to get in touch with them, see what they're doing, what your club is doing, and find out how we can help them. Gino, we were going to have Gino in the back to collect names from you, but when Mark laid out his little cards, I talked him into letting me use one side. Okay, you can bring the cards. When you go out the door, Gino's going to give you a prayer card. And when you get that prayer card, you can hand in the other card. So that would be great. Dante is going to share one of his country's vocational programs. He has a little DVD that Jack is going to bring up.
Every year, in Siena. It is an important Catholic happening. Some national or international organizations like Red Cross or UNICEF or others offer oil to the votive lamp of Santa Caterina. Last year, Serra Club, my club, offered oil, and of course, in the manifestation, in the happening, it's our Archbishop of Siena, is the Mayor of Siena, a cardinal came from Rome, a minister from the Italian government is in Siena. All contrary of Siena. I don't know if some person know the Palio of Siena, but anyway, okay, there are a flag, there are person with dress, middle-age custom, and so on. A very, very big and important fest. And the final in the central square with the cardinal and the archbishop with the relic of Santa Caterina, is a finger, give a benediction to the Air Force, not like the offensive force, but for the defense of Italy, of course. And I organize this kind of happening, and now it's a short, don't worry, it's only 3 minutes, but you can see some flash about the feast. Please go. Fourth season. Santa Caterina flag is a department, Caterpillar department. all departments. Dragon department. Shell department is mine. I can see again. The Cardinal Marchisio attended the ceremony. Yeah. The oldest Archbishop of Siena is greeted by the Cardinal. The Archbishop of Siena speaks. The Mayor of Siena is speaking. Oil offered by Serra, you know, the container with the Serra logo. We put to Santa Caterina, near Santa Caterina lamp. Is again my my shell. Sorry. I am a little bit chauvinist. The procession to the earth, to the church in which it is the head of Santa Caterina. It's Archbishop, Mayor, and Cardinal Marchisio. Vice President Gambardella and myself are attenders for the Mass. I was interviewed from television. It's not my landscape of Siena, you know. It's a very old city. I think it's the oldest city in the world. In the central square are military from the earth, from the sea, from the sky. The minister of Italian government speaking about Santa Caterina. our Archbishop speaking. The Dominican friars give the relic of Santa Caterina. Inside of the ampoule, it is the finger of Santa Caterina. And our Archbishop give a benediction to the people and so on. Thank you. Thank you.
And once again, he's out there making Serra known. And it's so good that we have those public events where we let Serra be there in present. It's good. So now we're going to go back to the slideshow from the current slide. Good. We're back. We have a program called the 5-Star Program. And this program is put together to try to help people start parish vocation committees. I think you heard the priest this morning on the panel saying, we have to develop a culture of vocations in our parishes, so we have to do something. And this is one of the things that we are giving out. This little presentation, the PowerPoint, is available to you to use for your club. And the idea, well, this is put together by Bob Barrett out of Michigan, and the idea behind the program is that I could take this to my parish. That's why it says, who are the Serra clubs on it. You all know who they are, but there are some people in your parish that don't know who a Serra club is, so we have to tell them. And then we have 5 steps to organize the program. We always have to address the fact that marriage is a vocation, marriage, single life, religious and priestly vocations, but we focus on religious and priestly vocations, and that they're everybody's business. It's not just the priest's business or the church's business, it's every parishioner's business. That's so terribly important. This program is well organized. We're just going to go through it quickly. What time is it? Just give me an idea of time. Okay, good. It's well organized for your parish. It has a detailed explanation on the website. Every step is backed up with where you find the chalice, where you get the crucifix if you use that part. So let's look at it. Let's get started. Number 1, the traveling chalice program, or crucifix. Sometimes this is a program where somebody in the parish is going to take home a chalice or a crucifix, set it on their kitchen table or their dining room table or their fireplace, and hopefully pray for vocations in their home one time a day for the next week. Yes?
Our chaplain at the Jesuit says chalices means only priests.
Mm-hmm.
Pray for all vocations.
Right.
Crucifix is too generic. So we came up, we haven't used one yet. There's a beautiful statue that's available online for $60. Fishers of Men.
Fishers of Men statue.
Throwing
Uh-huh.
men out with Matthew's sword.
And that's very important that your organization, your group should do it the way that you want to do it. We're only making a few suggestions, yeah, but good idea. There's many ways you can do this, but what we want to do is have a family pray for vocations around their dining room table. One mother, when we started this program in our parish, one mother said to me, they brought the chalice back, and she said, it was the first time that I thought it might be okay if one of my kids had a religious vocation. And so it not only changes the heart of the child, it changes the heart of the parent. And that's important too. And so it provides an opportunity to invite other Catholics to pray with you, like we invited friends, Catholic friends, to come in when we had the chalice and we did a rosary together for vocations. What a nice chance to have a few friends over and pray for vocations, and even mention you are a Serran. When we do this, one of the things we want you to do is to put a little booklet or journal in the Traveling Chalice program so people can write down their comments. We get beautiful comments, which people will leaf through and read, but also we are getting names of people who might be interested in serving on our parish vocation committee. So it's sort of a sneaky way to get names of people in the parish who are interested in vocations, and you can tell from what they wrote how interested they are, so that would be good. To implement it, you got to get the support of that pastor. Select a key person to run the program. You need one person who's on top of it. Some parishes will do 5 chalices for each Mass. I recommend doing 1 chalice and doing a Mass for a while. Do the 4 p.m. Mass on Saturday for a while, then change to the 9 a.m. Mass on Sunday. Make your life as easy as possible. Don't make it too complex. Don't overstart because it makes it tougher. It should continue for at least 26 weeks, and you'll get sort of a rhythm. And you can be surprised. You can get most of those people signed up at Coffee and Donuts in 1 or 2 times. They'll sign up while they're down there having coffee and donuts. So the components of the program, a crucifix or a chalice, or a icon, or something that your pastor would like you to have. Some people use icons too. And then a memory book and vocational prayers. And we have all the resources and materials available for you right on the Serra US website. Second step is bulletin announcements. Now, how simple could this be? Just to get a little corner in your bulletin for bulletin announcements. And you know one of the great things? They're all electronic. And the person who prepares your bulletin, sometimes they have a little space left. Our bulletin announcements come in all sizes. They can choose one to fit the space. They really like this. And so they can get it. They increase awareness for vocation. They just encourage families to talk about it. And they do address all vocations. They're on the Serra website, and you can get them from there, and it just is one good way. The other thing is you supplement those national vocation announcements, or just generic ones, I should say, with vocation announcements from your own vocation director. If our vocation director is having a come and see weekend, believe me, we want to be supporting it, telling people about it, and getting participation. And they just go to the person who prepares the bulletin. I'm going to try to get through this as fast as I can. Okay, step 3 is a 31-member club. How many of you have taken part in a 31-member club? Oh, great. This is where you promise to pray 1 day a month for vocations. And you put up a big calendar after daily Mass, and you get people to sign up to pray 1 day a month. And we have little cards that they can take home to remind them. It has a Serran prayer on the back of it. Also reminds them it's Serra doing it, which is always good. And it's a no dues, no meeting club, and a great way to stimulate the culture of vocations. Once again, I'm getting the names of people interested in vocations. This 5-star program is all about getting that parish involved and seeing who's interested. You have to have a poster, foam board, all this stuff, and it pretty much explains itself, and that's on the website too. The star 4 is to celebrate priestly and religious life. We do this probably well. You know, Priesthood Sunday, World Day of Prayer, all of these things. They're on the website. I'm not going to go through them now, but that's another thing that vocation people can do. And if you haven't done one of the programs, start with Priesthood Sunday. It's the easiest. And always start with the easiest because you want to encourage your group. If we start with the hardest one, then it sort of discourages. So pick an easy one and have some success. And don't start too big. Start small at first and grow. Holy cards, reception, vocation, homily, and more. All ideas on the website. And step 5 is a holy hour for priestly and religious vocations. And one thing I heard at this meeting was at the holy hour, we should invite the young people. And I thought, wow, that's really something too. Maybe have the youth group to take part in our holy hour because we want them to have that quiet time and think about it and have them praying for vocations too. So that might be a good deal. Schedule a convenient time, publicize it, gather and pray. Just get it going. Prayer moves mountains. So we got to make certain we're moving it. After 1 year, if you've done some of these activities, have a social time with the people who took part. And at that time, the person who ran that traveling chalice or crucifix program should be honored. That's the toughest job of this whole thing, is that one key person who's going to keep that going. Sometimes I encourage having 2 crucifixes or 2 chalices, because if it doesn't get returned on time, you have another one to use. Make your life simple. Make it easy to do. But you have gathered names, and now you're going to make certain you invite them, and that's a group you might ask. Would any of you like to serve on our parish vocation ministry? Why did I say ministry or team? The word committee has a bad sound. So we're a vocation ministry, or we're a vocation team. I think it sounds better. This is an interesting quote from our Saint Pope John Paul II. The priestly vocation is a gift from God. It is undoubtedly a great good for the person who its first recipient, but it's also a gift to the church as a whole, a benefit to her life and mission. The church, therefore, is called to safeguard this gift, to esteem it and love it. She is responsible for the birth and development of priestly vocations. That's us, guys. We're responsible. So we need to pray hard, work diligently, and create a culture of vocations in your parish. We're going to have Dante tell you a little bit about attending the ordination of his nephew.
Yes, last June 15, I was in Jerusalem because my nephew became a priest in Gethsemane. In Gethsemane church is an emotional day, very emotional day, not only for my nephews, but also to see around the city, the hills, the water in which Jesus Christ lived. Is a very, very emotional. I take from it's not allowed, but I take one stone from the lake and I put at my home. Of course, it's not the family merit if my nephews became priest. It's a God merit. He called from God. Okay. My nephew is only priest, but the son of Julie is a bishop.
We always prayed for a priest in the family, but we never prayed for a bishop. But we have one. In fact, one of his lines always used to say, anybody who wants to be a bishop deserves it. And he says, oh, I guess I have to change my story now. But when you offer your life to the Lord and he calls, you say yes. And so you go. And he was ordained a priest in 1997 on May 31st and ordained a bishop on December 9th, 2013. It's a great gift to a family. Oh, how nice to have someone in your own family baptize the children and marry them. And I hear your confession. My son is the best confessor I've ever had because he knows me. One time at confession, he said, Mom, you're beating your head against a stone. Try it this way. You're going against your personality. You know, and how great is that? I was. And when he told me, it just made such sense. Oh, that would be so much easier than what I'm trying to do. So it's just a beautiful gift. I think, though, his sister's first response when he was ordained a bishop was, well, you know, I've called my brother a lot of things, but your excellency has never been one of them. You know, before we go to the vocation booklet, just 1 second, I wanted to just share something that has made my heart good. You know, to have a bishop in the family, we see less of him, and he works probably maybe 75 hours a week now. It's hard, but I want to share with you a thought that's made my heart feel better. You know, with the problems we've had in Serra where we haven't been unified, makes a problem for the bishop. And when that bishop has two different, if a bishop were to have two different groups of Serrans in his area, it would be hard for him. Which group does he go to? How does he get the two groups together? And I'm just so glad that we're moving forward as a unified force for my son, because he works so hard. So I just encourage you to keep going forward unified together.
Last information. As Vice President for Vocation, I preparing a booklet in 5 different languages. There's English, Italian, Spanish, Portuguese, French, and in order to spread my the God thing to the all people. Of course, I can't made also in Chinese or in Japanese or other language very hard. But anyway, maybe in the future we can do also in Japanese or in Chinese. I asked John to make some copy for everybody, but I don't know if are ready or not. But if it's not ready now, maybe we can receive at home as soon as possible. Okay, thanks.
Okay, next one. Okay, I want to give you some grandparenting tips. You know, this is my love. We laugh because I do a lot of speaking on grandparenting, and now that I have a bishop, people are interested in hearing from me. And I thought my speech hasn't changed, but anyway, I want you to think about 5 ways you can encourage vocations in your own home as a parent or a grandparent. And one of the things that I do is that I've told my grandchildren, I tell them this when they make their first communion. That's the time I choose to tell them this. Grandma wants you to pray a Hail Mary every day that you will keep your body chaste and holy. And I've had some people say to me, Judy, how can you talk to your children about being chaste when they're 8 years old? You know what? The world is putting lots of things into their head, and don't be too far behind. And I just say, you know, it's just being modest and keeping your body, and being modest and dressing nice. And so we keep it light, but we talk about it. And I tell them, if you may forget to say your Hail Mary someday, but Grandma never forgets to say a Hail Mary for you, that this will be true. And so they know right off the top that Grandma's praying that they will be chaste and holy until they give themselves in marriage, or forever if they become a consecrated person. Another thing I do is I give them blessings. And I do this, I bless them sometimes twice a day if I'm going off and coming back, and they love to have their blessing. And I go up to them, and on their forehead, I say, I bless you in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And Sean, I pray you grow to be a holy man and serve the Lord. Now, we have one little character. Sean's very open. He always says, you know, I might be in the seminary, such and such. But the next little character, Jack, his name is Jack, like my husband. He says, do I have to be a priest? Do I have to be a priest? I said, no, you don't have to be a priest to be a holy man. Your father's a holy man. He's generous to life, and there's 7 children in your family. He's a good holy man. And he's a good father. That's also a holy man. But, you know, in the end, guess who will be the priest in the family? It bothers my little Jack. I wear my little feet pretty much all the time. And the other day, I was so tickled. My granddaughter, the 8-year-old, grabs my lapel and says to one of her 8-year-old friends, you see those little feet my grandma wears? You know, that's when she did not add, I always tell them that this is when a baby can wiggle their toes in the wombs at 10 weeks, and that's when most babies are aborted. But what she told her friend is, you see those little feet? Grandma says that if you or I or anybody else is ever pregnant and they need help, come to her. And I want to abortion-proof my family. And that's my job, folks. How many of you are having that concrete conversation that if this happens in your family, we're here? So please, think about that. We encourage them to volunteer a year to the church. You know, when children volunteer a year to the church, and they find that that year was wonderful. You know, it wasn't hard for my son to take the step into the priesthood because he already knew he liked serving the year and giving his whole life for a year. It was a trial. It was a ground where he could practice. So that is so terribly important. And if you're a grandparent that's going to help pay for some college education, you know, I'm not above using a little clout and saying, you know, you should give a year to the church and I might help you with college. Yeah, I think that's a lesson we should take from the Mormons. And we want them to serve at we want them to serve at Net Ministries. Jack and I wash dishes 4 weeks a year for Net training, and that sends out these little teams of young people between 18 and 29 to do ministry work for the Catholic Church. Beautiful ministry. But my granddaughter came home from Harvard. She said, Grandma, are you going to be upset if I go on Focus rather than Net? I said, I think I can handle it. So it was interesting. One time, I'm driving down the street in the car. I dropped the rest of the kids off someplace, so I had only the 4-year-old in the back seat, in her car seat. And she thoughtfully asked, Grandma, how are we going to dance together in heaven? And I thought, oh, isn't that the most wonderful thing a grandma could hear? Even the 4-year-old knows that our goal in life is to dance together in heaven. So we have to use our time with our grandchildren and to let them know what is important. I have the many luxuries, but one of the things I did, for those of you that don't have grandchildren close by, the first year they're away at college, they get a letter from me twice a week. A handwritten, beautiful letter from Grandma. And they love it. And in that letter, once again, we talked about pregnancies that could occur, that would be a problem. We talk about all different things. Sometimes I just send them cartoons that are funny, but sometimes I send them just a beautiful teaching. Or I have this thing from Relevant Radio called Glenn's Story Corner. Now, I am probably the biggest promoter of Glenn's Story Corner. Every morning in our location, at 6:45, Glenn's Story Corner comes on the radio. It's a virtue story of some kind. I would say 75% of the time it might be religious, but about 15% of the time, or 15% it's something from the newspaper, and 10% is just an interesting story. And they tell, I listen to that story, and then I drive my grandchildren to school, and I retell the story. And they love it. Even my kids in high school, when they come home at night, if I'm there, they'll say, Grandma, what was the story today? And it's just a chance for us to talk about some meaningful story and to have an exchange about values. I think sometimes we read way too much Dr. Seuss when we should be reading virtue stories. And there's all kinds of books out there. Yes?
I'm also a grandmother, and I have a 10-year-old. She's 10 years old now. At 4 years old, she told us that that she was not going to get married. She's going to be a nun. At that time, we went around. I wasn't in vocation ministry or went around any vocation people that much. At 6, she started, although I have audio Bibles and all that, she got interested in reading, listening to kids' audio Bible. And when I heard that the Dominican sisters are in town, she was attending Montessori school. I put her to a presentation run by the Dominican sisters. Last month, we had the Carmelite Provincial. We were blessed to be asked to drive the Provincial for 2 hours, more than 2 hours to Folsom. And all that time, the conversation was between my granddaughter and him. And he was just amazed about her knowledge of the Bible from Genesis all the way to Revelation. At 7, we were having dinner, and she asked me and my husband, the family, she asked, she's the firstborn, do I have the same birthright like Esau that Jacob took away from him? And we were just in awe, and we asked, it was just amazing. Right now, also, one last thing. At the last regional and Mount Carmel, we met with Sister Carmen Botello, and she was there with us. Now she is camping at the sisters' camp in Watsonville or Corralitas, supposedly just for 1 week. But Thursday, I heard from one of the sisters, and she wanted to stay 1 more week with my niece. So we hope that, we told the sister that we hope the seed was already planted. So,
And our son knew when he was very young, so you might have it right there. And just keep offering that support. One of the things I do want to make certain that you realize, though, is we don't really push our kids into a vocation. We ask them to discern. And we always tell them, you know what? I hope you will take time to pray with the Lord about whether you are called to, how you're called. Are you called to marry? Are you called? And we talk about all the vocations with the children. But you have to take time to be quiet. Another thing I often do is take them to adoration with me. And I don't go for a whole hour, usually when I take the grandchildren, but I take them for a few minutes. And sometimes we just go out in the church too, where there's no one else in front of the Blessed Sacrament, so I can pray out loud and they can listen, so they can hear that I just talk to God. I just make it personable. And it's my relationship. God is my friend. And so they know Jesus is my friend, and he's in the tabernacle, and it's special, and it's there. So as grandparents, you can write those letters to the kids in college. If they were away, I might Skype some time with them on the computer. And like the gentleman told us, if our children aren't practicing the faith, we still have to pray for them and love them and try to bring them back by a loving example, because that's so very important. I think that may be the last thing. Oh, we got one prayer. When you go out the door today, we're going to give you a prayer. My son is a very simple man, and for his ordination, the card we gave as a family to give out is a little black and white card of him saying met at Mass at Net Camp. And on the back of that card, Jack and I wrote a vocation prayer. And so we'd like to say this together today, but the first thing I want to say to you is, you guys, you're the answer. Every one of you. And it isn't just conducting a vocation activity by yourself, it's getting somebody else to do them. So please, join us in our telephone conference calls. Join us in our vocation ministry outreach. Join us in being that grandparent that has the courage to share the faith, or the parent that has the courage to share the faith. You can make a difference. So I just would like to say this prayer together, please. Dear Jesus, we thank you for all the priests and religious who have helped us to live our faith. Please give us the strength to live as faithful Catholics and work with them to promote your kingdom. We beg you to send us more holy priests and religious to bring Christ's saving message to this and future generations. Bring to us men and women who will dedicate their entire lives to sharing our great Catholic faith. We pray there will be priests to celebrate the holy sacrifice of the Mass, anoint us near death, administer the sacraments to our future offspring, and bring them all to dance with us in heaven. Amen. And I think that was the end, was it? Oh, St. John Paul II showed us that you might be old, but you're still called to work. You think about him. Think about the end of his life. He still kept going. He still kept being an example. He still kept sharing. So don't tell me you're too old. Look what our saint did for us. He showed us our job is not done until we reach the pearly gates and hear, "Welcome to heaven, good and faithful servant." God bless.
Wow. Wow. Judy and Dante, my heart is so full of the Holy Spirit. Are we full of the Holy Spirit? Yes.
Somebody wanted to just do a little bit of 3-minute promotion to Save 1,000 Souls. This is a book I love, I've used, I've purchased cases of them. Sam, get up here with them. And we're doing a new book coming out to have a priest in the family, to sort of help parents accept the priesthood in their family.
Thank you, Judy. Great presentation, by the way. Thank you very much. Okay, who has not heard of this book? Raise your hand if you've not heard of this book. Not many. That's good news. Sam, this is a how to discern for young men that are contemplating a vocation to the priesthood. I am Margot Getty from Houston, Texas, and we have had a record number of young men applying to the seminary this year, and it's attributable to this book. The men that we've had high school students apply, record number of high school students, and they've said that this book was the hinge between prayer and action. You've got to get this book into the high schools. You've got to get it to the chaplains and the universities. You've got to get it to everybody and anybody you know. This is a #1 priority for Serrans. And
she does not get a commission by
and this is Sam, and he is the publisher of this book. Okay, so Sam also. Okay. All right. So guess what? There's a brand new book out. Okay, this one is for the parents of seminaries. Does anybody know of another book that's out there like that? No, because there isn't one. Sam's genius, again, puts together this book. It's coming out in September 1st. It'll be available September 1st. Please go on VioniVocations.com and get them into the hands of the people that need to read that book. And finally, I was jumping out of my seat this morning. They were talking about homeschooling. What kind of curriculums do we have in the high schools, in the elementary schools, and for vocations? Ta-da! Sam does it again. I'm gonna let you take that one.
Man, Margot, you are the most enthusiastic person I've ever met. Thank you for your example. Since I'm here, I do want to tell you about this curriculum supplement that we've developed. I talked to a lot of Catholic principals and teachers about the emphasis on vocations in Catholic schools. And the consensus I heard was that it is present in the curriculum, but it is not strong. It is not strong. We are not inviting children like we should, and we're not educating them like we should. So we've developed a curriculum. It's K through 12. For Catholic schools, it takes up about 1 week of religion classes. And what we're doing is we are systematically teaching kids at every grade level what it means to have a healthy marriage, how you should respond if you're being called to priesthood and religious life. And this is also applicable in parish religious education too, and youth ministry. So it's kind of a total education solution for a diocese is what we're trying to do. Though I'll just give you a few hints. In high school, I'm very, very proud of what the writers did in high school. We have students, for example, reenacting the ordination rite during the class period. They are practicing writing letters to their vocation directors. They make up stories about should they be called to be a religious priest or sister, and it's a very interactive curriculum. So I think we're almost out of brochures, so if you want to learn more, you better get to the table quick. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much. Can I just get a big hand for Judy and Dante? I want to thank them so much. Judy, your love for motherhood has me in tears. And Dante, your love for country makes me so proud. Thank you so much for coming today and taking the toughest session, which would be 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Thank you so much. And your service to Serra Club for so many years. And I just want to make a reminder, we're just going to take a short break, about 5 minutes right now. We're going to try to start that next session at 3:20, and then we want to end early so we can do that 4:30 procession, that Eucharistic procession that'll start on the second floor. So go ahead and take a quick break, and then we'll get back to membership at 3:20. Thank you.